Hey guys, welcome back to another review video for The Flash Season 2, Episode 20, entitled Rupture. Wow, what a ending to this episode. This whole episode I thought was pretty good episode overall, but that ending made it go through the roof to like a 10. I'm just going to start off this review talking about the ending. It was absolutely insane. I have to say, I did not expect to see Barry get vaporized like that. I mean, it completely caught me off guard, and it was a little jarring. I actually really thought that it was going to work, that he was going to get his powers back, and he was going to be fine. I was not expecting him to start breaking up and then completely get vaporized. I was a little bit in shock myself at first. And then I was like, well, they're not going to kill off Barry Allen, the Flash. They're just not. But it was a little jarring at first because I was not expecting that, yeah, it was a little weird. It was a little weird for me at first, and then I was like, whoa, calm down. They're not going to kill off the main character. But that emotional scene though, with Iris and Joe just in shock, just staring. He couldn't believe what he just saw, and then Iris breaking down. And then Henry was there as well, and then him breaking down, and then Wells was kind of in shock too because he actually was so arrogant to think that it was going to work flawlessly. No, he had everything under control, but then yet again, just like on his Earth where he screwed up here. Now Barry is pretty much, they believe he's dead. That's exactly what it looked like anyway. And then also in the process you have Jesse and Wally getting their powers. Insane. But I'm going off on a rant. I need to talk about a few of the positives that I had. I really did like the three dads angle that they had going on there between Joe, Henry, and Harrison Wells. It was kind of like this push and pull type thing going on there, where you had Wells trying to get him to get do this particle accelerator explosion to get his powers back. You had Joe that was kind of in the middle, but actually thought that he should do it. And then you have Henry that was flat out against it. Why do you need your powers? You don't need to do this to save people. Well, why do it? So I really did like that whole angle going on there. I thought that was kind of cool. I like the actual tease that we got from Zoom to Caitlin, saying about how he sees the darkness inside her. There's not much there to actually push her over the edge to become Killer Frost. So maybe they're hinting at that a little bit. Maybe it might just be a tease, or just just them teasing us. I mean, and maybe it might not come of anything. But I think it would be kind of cool if it's like a foreshadowing that maybe eventually down the road, maybe not even this season, maybe even next season, that maybe she snaps or something happens after this whole event that's been going on, this trauma, and she's being traumatized basically. Maybe something happens down the road that she becomes Killer Frost. I mean, I think that would be kind of cool. The thing though that is stopping her from becoming Killer Frost is that she doesn't really have any powers. I think it would be kind of cool though if she would have been caught up in the particle accelerator explosion that happened with Wally and Jesse, but she wasn't there. So yeah, I mean, it should be interesting to see where they go with that. But I thought that was kind of a cool little moment. I really thought it was a really great scene with Cisco and his brother, which I think his name was Dante. That finally at the end with them embracing and hugging, and yeah, it was an emotional scene. I mean, after he sees the Earth 2 Dante Rupture, actually Zoom ends up killing him. It makes him emotional. I mean, this guy is the Earth 2 version of his brother. I mean, his brother's alive here. So I mean, yeah, it was a great scene. I really like those those scenes that they had together. I thought they were really good. And also another big positive was the scene in the police station with Zoom. I thought was really good. And when they go to the Jitters, the coffee shop, that place is that place gets destroyed constantly. I mean, I don't know what the insurance policy is on that place, but it's probably insane. But that whole scene with Zoom coming in and taking out all the cops and basically holding everyone hostage. I mean, I thought it was, spectacular scene. I thought Zoom was really, really strong in this episode. Really, really good, as always. And another positive that I had was Jesse and Wally. I thought they worked really well together. I think they have really good chemistry too. So that was a positive, and I can't wait to see what happens with them next week to see if they actually really do have the powers and what's going to become of that. It should be really, really interesting. But I did have a few negatives. One was the villain of the week, Rupture. I thought he was a cool looking villain, badass looking. He had that scythe. He had a cool like voice changer or whatever that sounded really, really cool. I mean, I really like that. But the problem I had was is that they didn't develop this character. He was a cool badass character, and he had like this special like abilities. I mean, with that scythe and everything, it was badass. But he just didn't really seem to use it very properly. He seemed kind of all over the place with like shooting the thing. I mean, it just didn't really make much sense. And then Zoom comes in there and kills him so fast. They just didn't. I wish they would have developed the character a little more. But it seems like that goes on quite often on the Flash and the other shows as well, like Arrow or whatever. They have these villains of the week that are kind of cool, and then they end up killing them off very quickly without developing them a little more. But yeah, that was a small negative there. Another, I don't know if it's a big negative, but it is something that bothered me a little bit. Was once the episode is over with, they actually show like a little preview or whatever, like what's going to happen next week. Right after we had that emotional scene with Barry getting vaporized and Iris breaking down, and the whole team just in shock. I mean, an emotional scene. Even though I knew they're not going to kill off Barry Allen, I think it would have still been cool if they would have left it kind of in your back of your mind, like maybe they did kill him off. But then they automatically show like next week they're going to he's like in another dimension or another world or something. So he's not dead. He's just kind of lost or his whatever. So I think it's going to take Jesse or Wally or something to bring him back. Who knows? But I think that was kind of like the disappointment that um, once they show that, it kind of spoils next week, is what I'm trying to say. So I just wish they would have let that hang a little bit, like in your mind, like maybe he actually is dead or whatever. But yeah, that was a little bit of just something that bothered me. I thought the scene with Iris and Barry, where she's basically confessing to him that she actually does have feelings for him or whatever it might be, I actually thought it was a little bit forced, just a little bit. Like now, all of a sudden, you're telling him, and it's like Barry didn't know what to think of this either. It's like, wow, all of a sudden now you want to do this? I mean, yeah, I mean it just didn't seem organic enough, I guess. Just seemed kind of forceful, the way that they set that up. And I mean, it doesn't really seem like Iris's feelings are genuine either. It's like she's like being forced to feel this way. Like I don't know. I mean, maybe she does really feel this way, but I mean, it's like she's having these like thoughts or whatever. Like maybe they are supposed to be together, but it doesn't really seem like. Does she really actually really want to be with him, or is it just something that she thinks that it's just destiny or something? I don't know. So I mean, the whole scene did it seem a little bit forced. But and it just seemed like really bad timing too. Like now you're going to say this, but I guess it was a nice little setup to have that emotional scene because at the end he gets vaporized and you can see like she's breaking up or whatever. So that makes it a little bit more emotional. But anyway, I mean that was just a few negatives that I had. But overall, guys, I thought this was a great episode. I really enjoyed it overall. But anyway, guys, if there's anything that I missed that you guys want to talk about, what you liked about the episode and what you didn't like about the episode, please write in the comments below. But that will do it for me for this week for another Flash review. Until next week, take it easy.